Hello, I'm Bob Wilhelm, and I am an iconographer. This icon is based on a mosaic from the great church of Santa Sofia in Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, Constantinople. And it is there that the Empress Irene, that was her Greek name, is shown near her husband, Emperor John. And the story is that he married a Hungarian princess and they reigned together. Well, actually, they didn't reign together because she wasn't interested in the politics of the time. The famous intrigues that went on in the Byzantine Empire. And she contented herself to raise her children. She had 8 children, and she did works of great charity for the poor and the outcast in the city of Constantinople. And for this reason, she is remembered and honored as a saint in the Eastern Church. Now, here's the icon based on the mosaic. And the mosaic, of course, has a very different quality from icons. I'm going to try to get this so it doesn't reflect too much of the light. I have artificial light on it because this room is very dark and it's not possible to see the colors properly. So here is the picture of this red-headed woman. You can see the original mosaic if you look at icons from Hagia Sophia. And she has a number of names. And the names that she has is based on the elaborateness of her story. She was the daughter of a Hungarian king. In Hungary at that time, and we're speaking about the time of the late 11th century, this is the time when just a few years after William the Conqueror conquered England. So we're at a time of antiquity, at a time when the Hungarian nation had only been established in Central Europe for maybe 2 centuries at the most, and Hungary was being integrated into European culture, and it was successfully. Hungarians, my ancestors, managed to keep their language, which is a non-European, Asiatic, or at least a Siberian language, but they adopted and adapted to European culture. They intermarried with Europeans, and the only issue that was open involves Princess Irene. Because at that time Hungary was pressed between the 2 great European powers. The Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, which was really a German empire, was on one side. And on the other side were the Balkans, which were dominated by the Byzantines, the Greeks. And Hungary had to negotiate its way in order to survive and make peace with both sides. It's the never-ending struggle of small little countries in Central and Eastern Europe who have to deal with the big and powerful countries like Russia and Germany and other countries that dominate the area. So the arrangement was that she would, she's identified as being named Priscilla or Prisca, which is a Latin name. And since her mother was a German and her father was a Hungarian, it's very likely that she was baptized in the Latin rite, and hence you see in the upper corner of this icon her name in its Latin form, Prisca, with the Latin cross. When she was married, she adopted the name of her husband's father, a very popular Greek name, and became Irene. And there you see the Byzantine cross of the Eastern Church. But it seems that her name was, in Hungarian, When she was a little girl, she was known for her red hair. She was known as Piroska. And so I have written her name on this icon in the Hungarian form, Saint or Szent Piroska. Finally, there are some white markings on this icon, and they are to fill out the rest of her iconography. The cross, the very large white cross with the double cross on it, is the Hungarian emblem for the cross. And you can see that in some ways it's even a compromise between the Byzantine cross and the Latin cross. Again, these are people who live on the borderland between very powerful enemies of each other on both sides. So that's part of her heritage. The other part is the flag, way at the bottom. It doesn't look like a flag, but it alternates red and white stripes, much like the American flag does. And probably after the various tribes that formed Hungary. And the banner had an extension, so it was a rectangular flag, but on top, two of the stripes, the red and the white, extended like the tail feathers of a bird out. And you can see that on the other side where my fingers are moving right now. So this was the national flag and the national emblem of Hungary. Now, she was recognized as a saint because of her piety, because of her good works, because, in a sense, of her refusal to get involved in all the intrigue of imperial politics, the maze of Byzantine politics. And like Elizabeth of Hungary later on, was in fact known for her charity. Now, I did this picture, painted this icon for a very particular reason. And that is my sister is named Piroska. That was her original name in Hungarian, though when she was formally registered and named here in the United States, she was named as Priscilla Ann. And she goes by the name of Nancy. So she's 12 years younger than I am. And her birthday is coming up in a couple of days, and I'm going to give this icon to her as a gift. And keeping with the idea that the saints are those who have gone before us, they point the way, they serve as guidance for us, they are models for us. And Nancy's guardian saint is this wonderful lady who lived in many worlds and who focused her life on a life of good works and prayer. And she is remembered, therefore, as Szent Piroska. I'm Bob Wilhelm. I'm a storyteller, and I'm also an iconographer.